Okay, welcome to this new video. This is a video by trxtuning.com, and what we're doing is a what's in the box video for the TRX 450 Pro Super Combo. This kit has come to me via Align UK and Skyline Models, so my thanks to Bob for getting this out to me nice and quickly. I'm going to go through the box now, show you what's in there, point out some of the main features of this model, and then following that we'll get on into the build videos and all that stuff. Okay, so I've flipped open the lid here and just taken out the manual, so we can see the manual here. See your typical Align manual, and we can see some nice big exploded diagrams and full build info, and then later on you've got your ESC setup in here. Some information on how to set up your pitch ranges, and the usual, stuff that you get in the Align manual. So if we come on to the contents of the box, there's a small box here on the top, and you can see that the packaging here is very similar to what we've seen recently with the TRX 250, with the vacuum formed plastic and then the components packed into that. So we'll have a look inside this box in a moment, but I'm going to do the main box contents first. So up front we can see the canopy and the mainframes here. This is the Super Combo kit, so if I just tip this up and move this over a little, you can see we have the servos down the bottom here, our speed controller, there's a main shaft here, the gyro. Then up the back here we've got our head assembly already pre-assembled. And as I said, you've got the canopy and the frames pre-assembled with the motor pre-installed. And then if we move it over here, we can see we've got the tail, gearbox and tail drive pre-assembled, and a couple of bottles of Loctite for doing your installation steps. Set of main blades, and behind that you can see we have the tail boom. Okay, so I'll just come back to that little box I took out now. Okay, so here's the box that I've just emptied out, and on the table here we have the contents of that little box. There's some Allen keys and a screwdriver, tail fin and some various components for the boom and paddles, that kind of stuff. We've got ball links and push rods up here. There's a pinion and servo horns in here, and some screws and stuff. We've got another little packet of what looks like spare parts. And then we've got zip ties and the blade caddy and a couple of gyro pads. So that's what's contained in the little black box. Okay, so I'll now go into a bit more detail on the components in the main box. Okay, the first thing I've pulled out here is the main frames and the main gear. This is a fairly standard Align main gear. I can't see any significant differences on this to what you've got in previous TRX versions. However, the main frames are very, very different. So if I just take you through this, you can see this isn't a stacked frame anymore. It's a single frame, quite narrow. There's a huge amount of frame stiffness in this. You can't flex it at all. It's really, really stiff. We can see we've got nice metal main shaft blocks in it, 2 of those. Then the new Align motor installed at the bottom here, which is the usual outrunner sort of in a can. Then at the back here you can see you've got the bevel gears for the torque tube drive. It's quite difficult to see in there to those, and you can kind of see those in shot there. But that's your torque tube drive gears at the back there, and then your anti-rotation slider on the top. Metal canopy posts on here. Okay, so that's your main frames. Okay, next thing I pulled out here is the new swash plate mixers, fly bar, blade grips and head. I'll just pick this up so I can try and give you a bit of a better look at it. So Here we have the swash plate, and this very much reminds me of the T-Rex 700 styling on the swash plate, and the same really with the mixer arms here. These are, you know, fully metal, all ball bearinged, and there's really very little, hardly any play at all in those arms. They are really stiff. You've got fixed links here going up to the flybar cage, and we can see our upper mixers here as well. Again, all metal and ball bearings. It's all very, very free moving, and this is beautifully smooth. And then we come right back up to the top here. You've got the new Align head block, which is very similar to the T-Rex 700 head block. So, you know, very, very T-shaped head block. There's more width here as well, and there are longer blade grips. So this is going to give you a little bit more blade disc area. I'm not sure exactly how much, but I suspect we'll gain a little bit of disc area from this wider head block. And then you've got your main blade grips, and these are, you know, thrust raised main blade grips as you would normally get with a T-Rex SEV2. Okay, so that's your main head components. Hopefully you've had a decent look at that. Okay, next up we've got the tail gearbox and the tail blade grips. So if I just bring this up a little closer so you can take a look at this, you've got you know, your usual kind of setup for the tail pitch slider, with the ball on the bottom of the tail pitch slider, you know, in a cup, and then you know, your pivot point to move your blade grips. Obviously torque tube drive, so you've got your torque tube gears, bevel gears at the back here. It's very, very smooth and free running, this. You know, really nice torque tube assembly there, and it's very, very similar to the T-Rex 700 and the T-Rex 600 and 500 design for the torque tube. The tail blade grips, these are a thrust raised grip as you would expect. Notice that you've got the Chinese weighting here on the blade grips as well to improve the blade grip performance. So this is a first. We've not seen this before on a line machine. This came out on the T-Rex 250 as an upgrade a little bit before the T-Rex 450 Pro, so that's not entirely true. It's the first time we've seen it, but it's the first time we've seen it, you know, right off the bat, as, you know, a stock item in the stock kit. So so there we go. That's the tail gearbox and blade grips. Okay, I've just lifted the box up here so you can get a real close look at what's in there servos wise. We've got Align DS410M digital servos for the cyclic. For the tail, we've got the DS520 digital servo. We've got a 35 amp speed controller here, and this is the one that will run 5.5 volts by the look of it. I don't know whether that's 6 volt switchable. I'll have to have a look in the kit, but certainly on the sticker it says 5.5 volts. And then we've got the GP 750 Align gyro, so we'll be putting that on. Notice also on the main shaft here, there's a change on the main shaft on the previous T-Rex 450. In fact, let me just try and pull this out so I can give you a closer look at this. Okay. Okay, so here's our main shaft. Notice that this has got the same kind of setup as the T-Rex 700, with the fixed kind of ring in the middle, which acts like your main shaft collar for fixing the movement on the main shaft. Now, I haven't built the kit up yet, so I don't know whether you shim it like you would a T-Rex 700 machine, but I suspect that's probably the case. I'll find out as I go into the build. But same sort of design main shaft. Okay, and the last thing I've just pulled out the kit here to show you is the torque tube drive that comes with the T-Rex 450, and this is nestled inside the boom in the packaging. So here we have the boom, and this is inside it, and you can see it's kind of, your usual kind of torque tube drive, and it has the same bearing that you put on a kind of a rubber mount that goes off center on the torque tube, within the boom to stop the torque tube from vibrating around. Okay, and the very last thing that I'm going to show you is the canopy for the TRX 250 Pro. So here we have it with the 450 Pro writing on it, and here we go, you can see the styling of that. Okay, so that's it, that's the What's in the Box video. I hope it was informative.